Hey guys, welcome back to the house where we talk news, celebrities, and hot topics. Listen, on today's episode, we have DJ Richie Skye, YouTuber, TV host, pop culture critic, a pop culture expert. Y'all know I am obsessed, and I've told him this multiple times. You are the blueprint. You are the blueprint. I mean, doing MSNBC and Fox and all of these great things. So he's just super dope. We started out by talking about his career and talking about him doing things on TV and whatnot, which is super exciting because it's like, oh my God, I look up to you, right? Kind of like a big bro, little bro situation. No. And then we started talking about the YouTube drama because I really want to know what's the secret to staying out the YouTube drama, child. Okay. And then, of course, we talked about the Housewives and the relationships and Sheree and Martell and Cynthia and Michael and Carlos King and Love and Marriage and Portia and Melody and all that. Monique, Chris, Potomac, Jizzy, Candiace Dellard. The whole situation. So it's super exciting. So yes, I hope you guys enjoy. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to create a great day. Bye. You're on TV. You got Good Day DC. You all over. So you're doing a lot. Like I said, the blueprint.
You know what it is? It's so funny. You think that, and again, coming from news, you think that, oh, you have to take this certain path to lead to success, and you have to be on Entertainment Tonight because that used to be my dream job. Mm-hmm. And then doing YouTube, I feel like it actually was the place that opened more opportunities for me than anything else. So I think it was all of those things combined that allowed me to now be able to kind of do stuff on Fox and then do stuff on MSNBC, which has been a blessing. And I still sometimes can't believe I'm there. Like sitting beside Simone Sanders, I'm like, yeah, what am I doing? What am I doing here?
That is so exciting. That is really exciting. Wow.
Thank you.
Okay, so with the success though, your name gets put in a lot of stuff. And tell me why I stayed up till 3, 4 in the morning, looking at the YouTube drama, okay, what's going on? Who said what? How do you stay out of that? Because you're very I'm not in the drama. I'm not in the mix. I just want to do my job and go home. How do you refrain from speaking out on things? Because I know people have mentioned your name in certain spaces.
Mm-hmm. Honestly... Oh, there's a photo that I wanted to show you. Okay, so I don't know if you can see this.
Okay.
But I'm going to show you this.
I can't see. Okay.
And
other way.
Oh, dang it.
Okay. Is that Beyonce?
All right. It's
that's
a picture of Destiny's Child. And it says, leave me out of it like this.
LMAO.
And it's a picture of Farrah.
The fact that you had that pulled up.
After working in news, and then feeling like I had someone there trying to sabotage me, one of the things that I made a promise to myself was that I would never do that to somebody else. So if there is someone out there who doesn't like me or doesn't like my content or the way I deliver my content, I'm never going to return that energy because my belief is that I want everybody who's on this platform to eat. I want everybody who is on this platform, especially if you are a creator of color, to do well, because in so many instances out there in the world, they will make you feel like you don't have a space. And for me, I'm just about creating spaces for people who do the work. So for me, I keep my focus on my focus, which is reality TV. And it's also a professional courtesy that I don't talk about other creators in any type of negative way.
See, I wish I was like that. Which I have tried to. I've tried to because when I first started YouTube, I was talking about other creators, and then I was like, it's a little messy. It's a little too messy. So let me just go for the celebrities. But I don't know. I be feeling like if I'm interested and passionate about what I'm looking at, then I feel like, listen, it's fair game. But that's a really good philosophy. That's how you stay out of mess. And I commend that.
Yeah, I mean, I also think about what my purpose is, right? So YouTube is like it's a great avenue and it's a great outlet, but I also feel like my purpose is there's a larger plan I feel like that God has for me. So um the best thing for me to do, and I feel like the thing that has gotten me to the places that I've been blessed to be able to go, is because I've only focused on what it is that I'm passionate about, and that's reality TV. I've touched on different topics within like pop culture, but they don't really interest me like that. I'll save that for when I go to Good Day DC if I have to, but for on the real, like on my channel, no, it's reality TV only at this point.
Wow. So you don't know what's going on with Kanye West?
Do I know? Yes. Do I choose to? The thing about Kanye is, I feel like it's like feeding a beast,
Uh-huh.
and I'm not calling him a beast.
Yes, you
But
are.
no, I'm
Oh,
not.
okay.
What I'm saying is, sometimes I feel like you can't give everything energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like he's one of those people at this point in time that I can't give any energy to because man, I just feel like my life is good, and the stuff that he's doing, I feel like I can't understand it or explain it, so I just stay away from it at this point.
Okay. Not the beast. No. Okay, so let's get into some reality TV, mainly Housewives.
Okay.
BravoCon. Why wasn't you at? Was you at BravoCon?
No, sir.
Was you too busy? What was going on?
um, to be honest with you, I think around July I was going to go,
Mm,
and then I said I love Bravo. I love what they do. I love the cast. I love the shows. I've been on the network. Um, I'm not a big crowd person. And I think me
mm.
and you have talked about this. I am not a big crowd person. The crowds, plus I'm not interested in the photo ops or anything like that. And that's just me being an introvert.
Now I was trying to go as press, and they were saying they don't allow YouTubers. Somebody said that they don't allow YouTubers, and I was like, okay, but they invite in the pod. What's the difference between the YouTubers and the podcasters?
You're right. If you're gonna be there, if I'm gonna be there, we should be there as press because that's what we do.
Right.
Tamara and Teddy are there, but they have an affiliation with iHeart, so I'm assuming that's probably why as well. But I also feel like no, we bring a lot of attention to these shows.
A
We
lot.
continue the conversation all week long, even after the show has gone off. And sometimes people won't even watch the show and they'll just listen to us, or they will watch the show because we talk about it so excitedly.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt like also it's I got to go where I'm celebrated,
Right.
and hopefully at a certain point in time they will begin to celebrate us on YouTube, and I think when that happens, I'll
Yeah.
be more likely or inclined to want to go.
Right. Because at this point, what we do is kind of like, well, what I do is earned media. I'm just talking about you. You're not paying me to talk about you. So I'm not going to
Exactly.
not be paid to talk about y'all shows and then pay $400 to go be amongst the peoples and then pay $800 for a hotel for the weekend. What? No, absolutely not. So I was like, okay, decline. They said access denied. I was like, okay, y'all got it. It's
But
cool.
that's real, and I'm glad that you mentioned that because oftentimes people won't don't see the L's, not, and it's not really a L, but like the L's that you take behind the scenes,
Mm-hmm.
or the restricted access, I guess I should say, that we oftentimes face. And I am excited about the people that I did see there because I know that if somebody else can get in the door and be celebrated,
Right.
yo, like I'm with that.
Right. Yeah. It looked really fun.
It
But
did.
it was a lot of stuff going on. So, Portia did an Instagram live with Candiace Bassett, which that was interesting because we
I
know that
saw
they're
that.
beefing, and basically said, yeah, I wasn't invited to BravoCon, but we did see Ramona and Leah from New York who have not filmed Bravo shows in like a year and a half, 2 years.
It's very interesting to me because obviously Portia did Ultimate Girls Trip. Obviously Leah did Ultimate Girls Trip.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. It's also very interesting that they would have Ramona there, who literally, based on what I just saw online, indicated that she kind of felt like the Real Housewives of New York Legacy show was for losers.
Right.
So I'm like, how she get an invite?
Right.
Like, why is she at the party?
But Portia not. I don't
That
like that.
makes
Like,
no
what is
sense to
going on with
me.
that? Do you want Portia back on Atlanta? I
I
feel like I
do
heard.
actually.
Really?
I felt like Portia should take 1 to 2 years off, because I also think that it would allow people and maybe the network to see the value that she brings to the show. And I felt like also too, she probably needed this moment to figure out whatever is maneuver in her future with Simon and the way that they're going to maneuver and come back with something solid. If she had come back last season, the entire season, or at least the beginning, I think would have been about the speculation of, will her and Simon last, how they got together. So I think a marriage solidifies any level of doubt about what they're doing.
Now, I did see a lot of people, they were upset because they say Portia lunged at the mom. They didn't like the fact that she wasn't, quote unquote, respecting her elders. But I just saw on Love and Marriage. Now, I don't really watch Love and Marriage.
Oh, I
But
love it.
I
I love
saw
it.
what. Listen, we can get into it, but I saw Melody like lunging and trying to fight the mama. I think Letitia mama or something like that, Wanda. So I'm like, where's the outrage? Like, why aren't we talking about this? Like, I'm confused. Is it a double standard?
You know what? It could be. It could be. But what I will say is I think that for Love and Marriage Huntsville, viewers, if they've been watching, we've kind of seen over the course of time that Miss Wanda has mentioned Melody and Martell's children. And
Okay.
so Melody, I think for a lot of people, it was time for her to address it with Miss Wanda. But Miss Wanda is also not a punk. So she's about it. And you got two people who bout it at the same time, and it was just fireworks.
Now, what is it about the show that you like so much? Because honestly, I cannot get into it. I binged 2 seasons and I was like, I can't do this. Like, there are some interesting moments, but I feel like the storylines are so regurgitated and they repeat and they repeat and they repeat. And it's like the same thing. Like, I feel like we're in season 4, 5. We're still trying to catch Marceau in a cheating scandal and there's no evidence. Like, I feel like we've been talking about this since episode 1. So it's like, I don't know. Help me understand it. Like, convince me.
Initially, there was this focus on this group of friends in the South who were trying to build communities and stuff like that. And I'm really big into like real estate shows and stuff like that. So that's what really caught my attention in the beginning outside of that drama.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I think anytime you get into the heart of relationships, and the cool thing about Love and Marriage Huntsville is that the men are equally as a part of the drama as the women.
Okay.
You gotta dive in.
Literally, I'm like, let me go ahead and get a Discovery Plus subscription. Let me see what this is about. And I was just like, no, I saw one lady, I think it was season 2. I don't know the lady name, but she married to like the big, I don't know. He looked like a football player, like a Chris Samuels type. He was huge. And I just saw like this one little clip where they had a scene in the backyard where she was just sitting on the lawnmower. And I was like, yeah, I'm from the South, but I think this is a little bit too country bumpkin for me. Like, it's a little too, it was giving backwoods and I ain't like it. And I was like, cut this off. It's like, I be trying, but DC, I liked a little bit better. I did like
Really?
DC a little bit better,
Okay.
but I wanted Winter. I felt like the star of the show wasn't even a real cast member. So I'm like, this is weird.
You know what? It was interesting that is what turned out. Like that's how that show kind of, well, I guess the direction that it turned. But I also think you have to recognize when you have a reality TV personality that just shines, and she has that type of personality.
Right. Which means she should have been bumped up. Like how they did
Now,
Claudia.
had
Claudia was
it
supposed to be
been
a friend and she got bumped up.
listen, if I was producing that show, which is it's really more of my area of interest, as I get older, I would have definitely been like, well, wait, what is she doing off to the side? Like, we got to add her, Photoshop her into that intro.
Right. Not Photoshop. So you want to do TV production?
I do actually. No, I don't want to be on set.
Mm.
I don't want to be on set on the day to day. I want to be sitting in my home. You send me what happened in the dailies, you know,
Okay, an Andy Cohen type.
and right, and then okay, this is the story. Okay, this is how we're gonna weave it together. Now send me the edits and stuff like that, or in casting, because I feel like I, I don't know. I just feel like what we do, we can spot a good
Stars.
cast, like a good casting, like
Mm.
right off the bat, and then we could spot a bad one, and we'd be like,
Mm.
"Why y'all do that?"
Mm. Yeah, I agree with you. Speaking of this, DC, what's going on with Monique Samuels? The People magazine article came out. It said that they were going their separate ways. Monique came out and said, "No, I still got my ring." Then they did a YouTube where they was like, "We're living in separate places a couple of times a week, but we're still very much so married." Um, I feel like a lot of people were not here for that. Like a lot of people thought that she was the one who put out the story, that this is a publicity stunt, that she wanted to hijack BravoCon. They feel like she's using, yeah, because it was talked about. Ashley talked about it in a panel. They feel like she uses her marriage for like storylines and stuff like that. So, like, what is your opinion?
I can tell you firsthand that none of that is true.
Okay.
I actually sent her the I sent her information about someone posting about it before the People magazine thing came out.
Okay.
Then when the people, but she didn't respond. So she was on a hike or something like that. So for me, I was like, well, I'm gonna let you know that this is out here. And then all the stuff with People magazine started to come out. And for me, in just kind of trying to respect my friend, I just said, you know what? I'm going to allow you to deal with this. Then once you comment on it, then I'll talk about it. Because I feel like if I have access to a source, then I'm going to do my due diligence and reach out to the source when I see a story, right? If I
Right.
see something that's like what? That's what I'm going to do first.
Okay.
So for me, I felt like at the end of the day, when I look back at it, I was kind of proud of myself because I felt like I did the right things. I just kind of waited to see what was said from her and then talk about it. Now, in regards to all of the stuff about, I guess people were thinking that she was trying to sabotage BravoCon.
Yeah.
Just knowing what I know about Monique, I could tell you with 100% certainty that that is the furthest thing from her mind. Monique is very, if you know her like in person, she's like an earth mother. You know what I'm saying?
She
Like
is. She is.
I mean, she is very much like, I'm trying to be one with nature. I'm trying to live a life of peace, but don't disrespect my peace, because that's when she'll turn into, the person that's gonna have to bring a folder of receipts to a reunion. In terms of her and Chris, I think they're just kind of going through the challenges that any married couple does. And a lot of married couples won't talk about, the times that they may have separated or spent the night, at someone else's place, you know what I'm saying? Or,
Mm,
somebody slept in the bedroom and somebody slept on the sofa, you know what I'm saying?
mm.
And I think there's a clear delineation of filing papers for separation and also being separate to get themselves better.
Right.
That's what I took from it.
Right. Because
So that they
I
can
saw
actually
some
work on
people
things.
saying, well, if you're staying apart, then, that's a separation. And I'm like, I mean, physically, are they physically separated? Like, if we're not together, yeah, but we're not divorcing. So that should be the end of it.
Exactly. That's really, I think, the clear cut line of it all right there. And I think anybody that's been in a relationship, it's interesting to me. It all of a sudden it seems like nobody's been in a relationship that had a problem before.
Right. That too.
Cause I'm like, y'all know what's up.
My whole thing with the situation was that I feel like she gave us the entire, like, I appreciate Monique and I love Monique, but she gave us a whole entire treatment for her storyline for season 2, which if I was Carlos King, I would be like fuming, like, girl, like, be quiet. Like, why is you giving away all of the storylines that we want to film?
Yeah. I think the issue was that their families didn't know.
Right.
And I think when you have a story that comes out on in People magazine and your family has no idea what's going on, or your friends have no idea what's going on, and people are posting it everywhere online, I think, in my opinion, she did the right thing with clarifying. Let me say this, because otherwise this is a story that's going to get run with and nobody else can tell their story the way that they can.
Right. So a simple not true wouldn't have sufficed.
I think that
Or we're not
even
separating,
when
we're
she
not
said
divorcing.
that, even when she said that, because I feel like Ashley had already said it on Watch What Happens Live, the live taping. I
Oh,
think
okay.
she
Right.
needed to kind of like clear all of that up, because if you have her posting him and her together, then you have Ashley an hour or two later saying this, then I feel like people are going to run with whatever the last thing they heard was.
Which I think is fine. Just let the people go crazy. Let the chaos be the chaos. And which is gonna make us tune into the show. Okay, speaking of love and marriage, Carlos King. Carlos King went onto your show and basically said he ain't had no problems with Kandi. Like, him and Kandi are cool. Then Kandi came out and was like, she has the issue because he's the one that sold the life story to Escape, to TV1 and all of those things. So it kind of seemed like Carlos was kind of like, I don't want to call him a liar, but it was interesting that he would be like, oh no, we're fine. And then Candy's like, no, I don't fuck with him. What you think?
Well, I was definitely shocked when I saw your video.
I
'Cause
was
I
shocked
was
too. I
like,
was not expecting all of that tea. I was like, oh wow. Like that, it was a lot. It was a lot.
um, you know, after my interview with Carlos and he answered, the question about Kandi, which I was actually hesitant to ask because I just kind of feel like, first of all, I love them both for the very reasons of, like, they both are powerhouses in media. And
Agreed.
so I admire that and I respect that. And just to be able to talk to either one of them, I feel like I can't even believe sometimes y'all talking to me. Having said that, when he answered the question the way that he did, I just took it for what it was. And I said, okay, well, there's no issue for him. When she said what she said, I then realized, oh, he may not have an issue, but she does. So that's how I looked at it. Like, I don't know if he knew that she had that issue and if that issue was still present, but I know now that she has an issue because, and I think even as you stated, you were kind of surprised. I had never heard that before.
Me neither.
I thought their issue stemmed from the Phaedra stuff.
Yeah.
So that's why I just let it go. I thought about asking her, but again, he had already covered it. So I was like, well, I ain't gonna ask her about it because I mean, he said it won't nothing there.
Now, if what Kandi said is true, how do you feel about what Carlos King allegedly did?
In order for me to truly answer that question, I would have to ask him what his version of that story is as well.
Why you think he hasn't come out and said anything about it?
Well, from what I do know about Carlos is that, and I can tell you that he does not care what people say about him. And I also know that Carlos is going to work any press to his advantage. And I think that that's probably the smartest route to go.
So you think not saying anything about it is to his advantage?
I think that because he doesn't care, I think it's smarter for him to let people think what they want to think. Similar to how you just said, you thought that Monique should just let people think whatever they wanted to think.
Well, it's a little bit different because I feel like this affects, like, people are now going to look at him sideways when they want to do things with him. No, when they want to produce, they're going to look at him because the other guy. Well, let me know.
I don't think it has stopped him from getting any work.
Okay, so you don't think?
I mean, I just don't.
You don't think it hurts his reputation?
I think the only person that can answer that is him.
Okay. Well,
I mean, here's the thing. Let me say this. At the end of the day, the problem for me in this situation is that I love and respect both parties.
I do too.
I think that this situation is unfortunate because the wish that I have is that they are able to come together and work on more things, because when they do, it offers us more opportunity to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Because when we get more content from people like that, we all eat. Bottom line.
Which is why he need to talk about it.
Now, if he does, then I'm definitely happy to hear that and talk about that. But I respect the fact that he doesn't, just because I respect my relationship with him, and I respect the fact that Kandi even spoke to me.
Okay, I feel you. Okay, back to Housewives, child. Kenya, she wants Nene back.
Love it.
That doesn't make any sense to me. How does that make sense? Like, number one, she sued the network. If Bravo has her back, like, I just don't understand that. Like, okay, put her on E. Like, send her to a sister network if they want to give her a job. To have her back on the Housewives when that's the very same thing. And then she can open up the case whenever she wants to. Like, I just don't see that happening. It doesn't seem like they settled. This is the same woman. Kenya is the same woman who was, I guess you could say, a victim of Nene spitting popcorn kernels at her. Like, none of that makes sense to me. None of that makes sense.
Well, I think that Kenya, too, is very strategic in what she says and what she does. She's a smart woman. And I think she also understands what makes for a great show. And despite the fact that she may have at times been at odds with her, and that it took guts to me, knowing full well that the network and Bravo in general likely has issue with Nene, for her to say that. I think that was really big of her, but I also think it was smart of her, because I think she knows that she and Nene make good TV together. And a small part of me wonders if it was to spite Marlo just a little bit.
Okay, what's going on with that? Because I did hear that Marlo, it was some shade. Like, Nene was on Twitter possibly shading Marlo.
Yeah, it's one of those types of things where she ain't at her, so it's kind of hard to determine what she was speaking about or responding to and how she was responding. But again, I mean, I will say, just if you look at it from the perspective of Kenya Moore is a cast member on the franchise and on the network, and she's speaking positively about having someone back who has possibly burned a bridge with that network, that's a bold statement right there. And I also would have to wonder how comfortable it would be for Marlo if Nene did come back to the show. Would they pick up being friends again, or would they kind of have a frenemy type relationship?
But what would that look like?
That I don't know.
I'm really confused, because they was at the Quality Control birthday party, taking pictures, doing what they do. And then it's like they're friends, they're not friends. I think Nene just don't like her because the girl is on the show. Marlo's on the show and you not. You got replaced. So I kind of...
You know what?
Marlo is on the show and you're not. You got replaced. You did. So it's kind of like, Aaron, girl. No,
Aaron,
Nene.
I'm not messing with
and
you
then,
today.
Would Bravo even have her back? Do you even think that's a realistic thing? Come on now. Like... I'm tired of the pipe dreams.
Aaron, you cannot fault people for having their dreams. Okay. Um,
She had her chance. You had your chance. You were showing up to late, 2-3 hours. You were showing up to set, 2 and 3 hours late. You wanted to be a diva on the set. You sent the man to the dentist. Had to go to Dr. Heavenly because you got your tooth chipped off. Like, girl, you was acting a damn fool. You was acting a damn fool and had the nerve to tell Portia, well, if I did do it, I didn't do it on camera. So not only did you didn't just assault someone, but you assaulted a contractor of the production company or the network, sis. Like, and then on top of that, you're asking for too much. We're going through a global pandemic. The coins are not, the ratings are down. The pandemic, we don't even have the money to pay your $4 million salary. Like, it just never made sense. It never made sense. It just...
I gotta take a drink of my tea on that one because I'm over here trying to be politically correct, Aaron.
I'm just like, I just don't see a world where Bravo would ever bring her back. You called them racist, and you called the head of the network, the face, the figurehead, a crackhead. Did she say a crackhead or something? She said something, your old crackhead or your old racist. I think she called Wendy a crackhead, and then she called Andy Cohen a big old racist. Man, you think Andy Cohen is going to be okay with that?
If I were an employer, would I ever hire that employee again? No.
Anyways, you think Kim Zolciak should come back?
No.
I don't either. Why is Sheree trying to make that happen?
So Sheree can have some allies.
Oh, Sheree, you need to make peace with the people that are on the show. And stop bringing on... So how you feel about Martell and...
I don't know. You know, it to me, it feels like, and I feel like you hear about these things happening in Hollywood, like, you know, like it reminds me of Camila Cabello and what was that boy's name? Shawn Mendes.
Fake.
That's what it reminds me of. That's what it gives to me. Like, oh, we got a black version of that. Oh, and this is such a great opportunity because now we can cross over these shows, which has never really been done like this before. So I don't know. To me, it just feels... It doesn't feel real to me, and I know everybody says it's real, but it's hard for me to wrap my mind around.
Kenya has said that Sheree is a good pick, but she's not a good picker. Kandi said that he was trying to get photographed at the Blaze with another girl. So they think it's fake. Y'all are being photographed in the park. You're being met up by TMZ in Sandy Springs, Georgia.
The TMZ don't hang out in Sandy Springs?
No. Absolutely not. Sheree is so fake, and she don't even try to hide it. It's annoying. It's annoying to me. It's really annoying.
The biggest issue that I have with Sheree, I think, are all the things that you just lined up, followed by the very faulty launch of She by Sheree. Everything about her, it feels inauthentic.
Very.
To me. And I hate when I see that because she's an OG. You know what I mean? You kind of want an OG to bring something big to the show and to the franchise. But honestly, when you look back at like her at the beginning, I mean, even then she kind of felt a little bit inauthentic on the screen.
Yeah, the whole thing leaving Nene off the list. Excuse me. My name's on the list. Nene's isn't. That was fake, and Carlos King admitted that. She did that for the TV cameras, which is cute because we need something to pop off the drama and stuff like that. Now. But even with that, that's a good example of you coming up with a scheme, but it can be seen as believable. That was kind of believable. Like, oh, we just left your name on, like it was just an oversight. It was a mistake. Like that's something we can't really prove that that's fake unless you come out and say that that's fake. But all this other stuff, like the reality TV game to me has changed to where you have me and you. where we're talking about these things every day. We're looking at this stuff with a fine tooth comb. It's social media. We know the storylines. We know what's going on before it even hits the air. So you cannot trick us no more. Like the veil when it comes to reality TV is over. Christine, you watch Selling Sunset?
Yes.
Christine came out and said all that shit fake. It's all fake. And everything Sheree does is fake. It's just everything. Cynthia and Mike, you think she gonna come back?
I would not bring Cynthia back.
Wow. You know what? Not as a friend.
Maybe as a friend. I mean, maybe it's just, somebody that can kind of be there. But I think that in order for the franchise to grow, they really just need to, casting just needs to do better. Like there's so many. Here's the thing. The problem with casting for Atlanta is you've already casted so many well-known names that throwing in an unknown name probably feels a little odd, right?
Right.
So how are you going to throw in somebody we don't know with a Kandi, with a Kenya, with a Drew? I mean, some of these women have been in the entertainment industry for years. So I think you kind of create a little bit of an issue when you start bringing in all of these well-known names. Mm-hmm. And then when you try to add more names, then you end up with actresses on the show, which to me then spells acting on the show.
Kenya,
so what
Drew,
what you really want are unknowns, which is I think why Potomac does so well right now and Salt Lake City is so intriguing to people is because none of these people we don't know them yet. So they don't have these brands that they need to be like so conscious of. And their stories are a bit more organic or we think they are. But, I just feel like it offers us an opportunity to get to know people in a different way. And it's hard. I mean, casting Atlanta, I think, is probably one of the hardest franchises to probably cast, which is why they haven't done such a great job at it.
Now, why you think they didn't bring back LaToya? I've been thinking about this, but it hasn't really been that important for me to press the issue. But I'm like, what happened with that?
With LaToya, I would have given her another opportunity personally. Mm-hmm. I felt like she was very chaotic.
Too much.
There's chaos and confusion, which I feel like Mia brings to Potomac, right? Her first season. And it was entertaining. But I do feel like there was chaos and confusion that LaToya brought that was just maybe confusing. And because she was only a friend, they weren't able to tell her complete story. So now we have chaos and confusion and we don't even know you.
Yeah. And I think it was a thing of, I'm just trying to get camera time. That's how I read her stint on Housewives, and I would have liked another season from her just to see, okay, what is she really about? But it just gave, I'm just gonna do and say any and everything to get camera time, and I'm like, girl, no. The way Marlo did it, I feel like Marlo was giving chaos and confusion too, but she focused it in to where it made a little bit more sense. LaToya was all over the place. Would you have given Fallon another season?
I would have. I felt like at the time, with certain housewives, similar or certain people, I felt like their time was short-lived, right? Take, for instance, Claudia Jordan. I felt like her time on the show was short-lived. And I think there were a number of reasons why. I feel like following Fallon, especially in light of what happened with her and Portia, would have been television gold. Missed opportunity there. But of course, who would have known all that would occur? But I'm thinking in my mind, if I'm looking for, an affluent married couple that lives in Atlanta, they have the house, they live behind the gates, as Nene says.
LOL.
Those are the people that I'm casting. And granted that we did not know her from, she wasn't an actress, she wasn't a well-known singer, a well-known, a high fashion runway model. I would have liked to have seen what happens there. Would she and Simon have stayed together if she was on the show? Or would they have eventually fractured
but the problem
in the way that they did?
it's like Manietta. You have to do and you have to say something. And I'm really confused, and I'm not really trying to drag the girls. But bringing Manietta back, like, girl, if you get this second season and you do the same thing, like, and don't blame it on they cut all my stuff out. If they're cutting your stuff out, that means it wasn't really that important to the storyline that they wanted to push. So it's just giving like, y'all don't do and say nothing. Bye, go.
I think it's difficult to come in as a friend because sometimes I feel like the friends get used, right? For a while there, I kind of feel like Atlanta rested on the laurels of, well, if the friends are doing the work, then the main cast members don't really have to get their hands dirty. I felt like that was the case
Okay.
with LaToya.
I do agree with that to a certain extent. Yes. But Manietta not even doing dirty work. You're not doing anything. Fallon is not even doing dirty work. You're just not doing anything. Like, it doesn't make. Now, who was the perfect friend that they should have paid her a little bit more? Tanya.
You know what? I agree.
Tanya
You
was
know what?
perfect.
We can wholeheartedly agree on that. And I think that Tanya had the most refreshing personality.
Yes.
She 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 stepped in mess unintentionally. You know what I'm saying? Finding herself at odds with like Nene and stuff and Kenya. And
Mm-hmm.
but I also think that Tanya recognized like this thing, like my money is elsewhere. Like you got to go where that money is coming from at the end of the day,
Right.
and they not paying friends like that.
And she fled the scene to Canada when Kenya just put they shit on Front Street.
I mean,
Anyways,
listen, everybody's not built for reality TV
you
like
think
that.
Tanya did it?
Get out, get out of here.
I keep pulling this this court. Okay, Potomac. I did not mean to take up all this time. Okay, Potomac. Jizzy, Candiace. Who in the wrong? Is Giselle wrong? Giselle is trying to pull a. Oh my God, Chris Bassett made me feel so uncomfortable because he knew my glam was gone and I was in a room with a closed door and I just didn't like it. And did he do or say anything? No. Did he do this? No. He didn't try to fill you up? No. So what is we talking about?
I think that if Giselle really had a big issue with this, she would have told Candiace right after it happened and not waited 4 or 5 months to do so in order for her to talk about it in front of the cameras and then embarrass this woman and her
Right.
husband.
Yeah.
Period.
So it's for a storyline.
Yeah, you know what? When you're watching Robin listen to her and Robin's trying to talk some reason into her, Robin even laughs at the end because I felt like Robin realized, oh, you about to use this. You about to tear these people down. I'm just glad it's not me. You done already told the people that Juan's name ain't on the house.
Oh God.
I was like, when she said that, I was like,
Yeah, I'm like, you giving up way too much information. Whose name is on your house? And did Jamal help pay for it?
okay. I just felt like that was dirty. Like it's one thing to be spilling some tea, but like dang, nobody's off limits at this point. Like that's some stuff that you don't say because you know that man would never want that information out there.
But is Giselle ever going to take a back seat and be like, I'm going to let somebody, because at a certain point, it starts to look like every season it's always Giselle against a married couple. And it's like, Giselle, switch up the formula just a smidge. Like,
Exactly.
it's getting to be
Like
like, okay, like we get it now.
I mean, if within the span of the first 2 episodes, she has said to Mia, "Is this what cancer looks like?" I said, how do you do that?
And
You
imagine
didn't
if she
talk.
really does have cancer.
That's what I'm saying. That's what and I was trying to like get people to understand like when somebody is going through that space, it could be weeks before they really know because they have surgery, you get your appointment. It's a lot.
Mm.
And so the lack of sensitivity around that was just like I mean, it's one thing to address her post, which I feel like, okay, if you want to address that, but then is this what cancer looks like? I was like, nah, let's not do that. Then you're gonna call Ashley a straight up liar. Ashley, you're lying. Okay.
Thank you so much for staying on here for a whole hour.
No problem.
I know you're busy. You got things to do. I appreciate it. You are everything. I look up to you. I don't know if I ever told you that. I think I did. But yeah, you're
Well,
everything.
first, thank you. Thank you for having me on here. I know that, anytime a person gets an opportunity to share their platform, it really means something. So I just want to say thank you.
Yes, thank you. All right. So, is there anything you want to say, promote, anything? I mean, listen, you got your own platform. So if you got anything, I'm sure you would say another thing, but.
We just premiered an interview with Quad Webb from Married to Medicine, so that's out today. I have I don't want to call it a Housewives, like sort of fan fiction book that's coming out in the next maybe month or two. So that'll be coming out. Otherwise, that's really about it. All the other stuff that I'm doing, I feel like is just kind of like outside of the world of entertainment, So, but yeah, everything
Wait,
with
fan
with that.
fiction.
Yeah, like I have had a story in mind. I think it's going to be about 6 or 7 books. And so I've just been kind of working on finishing that and editing that and getting the first one out, and then we'll go for the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, and the sixth.
I love
My
that.
dream goal is to have about 20 or so books, not all about the same thing, but this first one is about the world of reality TV and the women in a specific community as they live their lives and things happen, and there's a little bit of murder mystery, a little bit of sexiness to it. So I want it to be all of that.
Oh, so will the characters be totally fictionalized
They're
or
totally fictional.
okay?
Yeah. I mean, there may be some inspirations from certain situations that
Yeah.
we've seen on shows, but for the most part, I think I've found a story in my mind that I think my hope is that men and women can relate to.
Okay. I like that. Okay, so
Yeah.
author, reality TV star, TV host, YouTuber, pop culture expert. You got it all going on.
And a doggy dad.
And a doggy dad and a husband. Do we talk about the husband? Okay, we talk about the husband. I don't want to make sure I'm putting something out there you don't want out there. All
No, it's
right.
fine.
All right. Thank you, Richie.
Thank you.